In today's video, I'll be sharing the Social Security claiming mistakes I see clients make repeatedly and what I would do differently if I had to make that decision over again. Through analyzing hundreds of Social Security claiming scenarios and working with clients who've experienced both successful and regretful claiming decisions, I've discovered the strategies that maximize lifetime income versus those that cost people hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's exactly why I'm making this video today, to show you the claiming approach that I would take, knowing what I know now, why the conventional wisdom about Social Security timing is often wrong, and the specific factors that should drive your claiming decision. And stick with me to the end. I'll even share the dirty secret about claiming Social Security that nobody talks about. Let's get into it. Every year I see retirees make the same costly decision. They turn 62, they become eligible for Social Security, and without a full plan in place, they simply claim. Roughly 30% of all Social Security recipients claim as soon as possible at age 62. Now, they worked hard their entire lives. It's pretty tough to blame them. The benefits start coming in, and at first it feels like an absolute win. But eventually that regret creeps in, and by then, well, it's just too late. Claiming Social Security at 62 means locking in the lowest possible monthly income for the rest of your life. Claim at 62 and your benefit is just 56.5% of what it would have been at 70. That's a 43.5% permanent pay cut. And that decision doesn't just affect you, it can affect your spouse as well. If you're the higher earner and you claim early, your surviving spouse inherits that lower benefit forever. So you're not just shrinking your income, you're potentially shrinking your spouse's income as well. I often see this play out in online forums and Facebook groups. Retirees in their 70s and 80s post things like, "I wish I would have waited," or "I had no idea how much more I could have received had I waited." They didn't feel it right away, but over time as inflation rises and as healthcare costs mount, that early benefit starts to fall short. What seemed like a good decision at 62 becomes a monthly reminder of what they could have had they waited. Now, fortunately, most of my clients have taken a more strategic approach, but not everyone has someone showing them the long view. The motivation to claim early often stems from fear. Fear that Social Security might run out, or they might not live long enough to collect all their benefits, or they might have to dip into savings and they might run out of money. And I get it. Most of those fears are real. Those are valid fears. But in most cases, they are financially destructive. The cut to your benefits aren't just numbers on paper. It leads to less fun, less flexibility, and less freedom. And once that decision is made, there's really no going back. Yes, you do get 1 year to undo it, but after that, it's pretty permanent. And worse, the consequences are delayed. Claiming at 62 often feels amazing until life gets more expensive, or your spouse passes away, or you reach your 80s and income just hasn't kept up with inflation. The real pain is that it compounds slowly after it's too late to change your mind. So while claiming early may feel smart in the moment, for most retirees, it becomes their biggest financial regret. You only get one chance to get this right, and the long-term cost of getting it wrong is just too high. So now that you understand why claiming at 62 is so destructive, let me reveal the tax and withdrawal disasters that's making this claiming choice even worse. Now, at first glance, turning Social Security on at 62 seems pretty harmless. You get steady income and you reduce your reliance on savings, but behind the scenes, early benefits set off a chain reaction that derails your tax strategy and your withdrawal plan. The moment you turn on Social Security, you're adding taxable income, whether you need it or not. Up to 85% of your benefits can be taxed depending on your other income, including IRA or 401k withdrawals, pensions, part-time work, you name it. Stack Social Security on top of those and your tax bill quickly climbs. This is especially damaging because in your early to mid-60s, those are typically your most tax-flexible years. It's the perfect time for things like Roth conversions, capital gains harvesting, and long-term tax management, often worth 6 or 7 figures in savings over the course of your retirement. Once Social Security is flowing, your taxable income jumps and that flexibility disappears. You're going to hit higher tax brackets sooner and possibly trigger IRMA surcharges on Medicare, which, of course, by the way, turns on at age 63. Now, here's a quick example. If a client has enough assets to delay Social Security until 70, we might do an $80,000 Roth conversion while staying in a favorable tax bracket and avoiding IRMA. But if Social Security is turned on early, we might only have space for a $50,000 conversion. That $30,000 difference could have ripple effects for decades, raising RMDs, reducing tax-free income, and shrinking your overall legacy. Delaying Social Security, especially if you don't need the income, preserves that tax planning space, which could mean tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars in tax savings over your lifetime. Now let's talk about withdrawals and why sequencing really matters. My happiest clients follow a powerful pattern: big withdrawals early on in retirement while deferring Social Security. Well, why is that? Because early retirement is the most active, most expensive, and most fun stage of retirement. And to fund that lifestyle, we want income that's flexible and under your control. We want portfolio withdrawals, not fixed Social Security benefits. The key is to draw your income from cash and bonds, not from stocks. That keeps growth assets intact and reduces our market risk. By starting with stable assets, we avoid the sequence of returns risk, the hidden killer of many retirement plans that rely on market withdrawals during downturns. Meanwhile, our Social Security is quietly growing behind the scenes. And when you finally turn it on, you've got bigger guaranteed checks just as spending naturally slows down and when guaranteed income becomes more valuable. So the bottom line, you don't want small Social Security now and big investment accounts later. You want flexible income now and more guaranteed income later. That's how you buy financial freedom in your 60s and peace of mind in your 80s. When you get the sequence wrong, it's nearly impossible to fix. Now, before I move on, these Social Security timing mistakes could cost you hundreds of thousands of lifetime wealth. Click the link in the description where you can schedule a time directly with me where we can walk through your specific situation and discuss what might be the optimal claiming strategy just for your circumstances in particular. Okay, let's look at how you can implement this optimization strategy for your unique situation. The right Social Security strategy isn't rigid, it's responsive. We don't claim early just because we can, and we don't delay until 70 just because some guy on the internet told you to do so. We create a plan that flexes with real life. We use Social Security as a pressure release valve. We start with retirement income guardrails. That means setting a target income and establishing thresholds on when to increase or reduce your withdrawals. And it lets retirees spend way more than a typical 3 or 4% safe withdrawal rate, without, of course, compromising the plan's long-term sustainability. In good markets, we let our Social Security grow in the background while pulling our income from bonds and cash. But if the market tumbles, we pull our pressure release valve, turning on one or maybe even both of our Social Security benefits if we're married. That stabilizes the plan, it reduces portfolio withdrawals, and increases guaranteed income when it's needed the most. This coordination between our Social Security benefits and our retirement account withdrawals, that's what makes for a more flexible, tax-efficient retirement income plan. Delaying Social Security creates a window for Roth IRA conversions, moving assets from tax-deferred to tax-free accounts while staying in low or lower tax brackets. And it's really one of the most powerful moves when it comes to modern retirement planning. Now, before we get into how to assess whether or not you can delay, let me pay off what I promised at the beginning of the video. That dirty secret about Social Security claiming that nobody wants to talk about, well, here it is. If you live exactly to your actuarial life expectancy, that's the average based on the year that you were born, then it actually really doesn't even matter when you claim Social Security. The system is designed to equalize lifetime benefits across claiming strategies. So whether you start at 62 or 70 or any place in between, it really doesn't matter when you claim, you get the same amount of money. But here's the key. You are not average. Your health, your spouse's needs, your savings, your goals, none of that is built into that actuarial table. And that's why this decision needs to be personalized to you. Somebody with no savings might have to claim early to pay the bills. They just have no other choice. But somebody with significant retirement savings might be able to delay their benefits, optimize taxes, and secure much more income long term. The claim decision has to be part of your broader retirement income strategy. Without context, you just can't have a right answer for everybody. But within a plan, well, often there's clearly a better path that we should take. So how do you know if you're in a position to wait? It starts with understanding whether or not your available resources, things like cash, savings, IRA, taxable accounts, basically your portfolio assets, can they cover your spending needs while you let Social Security grow in the background? You also have to consider health, longevity, and how much flexibility you might want later in life. From there, it's all about evaluating how different claiming timelines would hold up under various market conditions, market downturns, change in expenses, or maybe the loss of a spouse. A good plan isn't just about maximizing income, it's about staying adaptable. Because life very rarely follows a straight line. Your Social Security strategy shouldn't follow a straight line either. It's really not a one-time decision, a one-time switch. It's a decision point that you can plan around, adjust for, and then activate just when the timing is right. And so the goal isn't just to delay, it's to maximize overall income, maximize guaranteed income, minimize taxes, and stay in control throughout the entirety of your retirement. So ask yourself, do you have enough saved to bridge a few more years before you claim your benefits? Are you in good health with strong longevity? Do you want to reduce future tax burdens and protect your spouse's income? Would you prefer more flexible income now and more guaranteed income later? Well, if you answered yes, even to a few of those items, well, then I think you're in a perfect position to consider optimizing. Because the best Social Security strategy isn't about guessing break-even points. It's about building a plan that doesn't break no matter what the market throws at us. All right, so now that you understand the Social Security claiming strategy that I would use based on years of experience and analysis, you can make an informed decision that maximizes your lifetime benefits instead of leaving money on the table. If you want help determining your optimal Social Security claiming strategy, click the link in the description and book a call with me, or we'll look at your specific situation and show you exactly when, where, and how to claim your maximum lifetime benefits. Until then, I'll see you in the next video.